From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
A baby is home tonight after going missing from a gas station early this morning. Coming up, the story of how a Good Samaritan helped reunite her with her family.
I wasn't scared that I was just going to be thrown out and not have a place to be or people to help me.
An 18th birthday is a happy milestone for many people, but for kids in foster care, it can be a day that they dread. The help available for foster kids as they transition into adulthood.
The state is now stepping in to help a grieving family left hanging by the headstone business. WRTV Investigates is looking into the action now underway.
And on the move, a cold front moving through central Indiana is starting to send those temperatures tumbling. I'll let you know about a chilly night ahead in just a few minutes.
Good evening to you, and thanks for choosing WRTV News at 6. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino.
A baby girl is home safe tonight after a man stole a truck from a gas station with the 6-month-old inside. It was a horrific situation for the family. Tonight, police are actively investigating the case, but officers haven't made any arrests yet. Our Alyssa Donovan is live on the west side of the city with this developing story tonight. Alyssa.
Yes, good evening. That missing truck was discovered just hours after it was reported missing this morning, just around the corner from where I'm standing and around the corner from this house. That's where police have been conducting a search throughout the day. They say they've discovered several stolen vehicles on the property, and the woman who found the baby says she's just glad that little girl was okay. The woman who called in the truck says she saw the post on Facebook about the missing child, and then she looked outside.
I happened to be looking out my window from my couch, and I'm staring at a white truck.
Danielle Massing lives about 12 miles from the gas station in Plainfield where the truck was stolen. Police tell us around 6:30 Thursday morning, a man attempted to use his Apple Pay at the gas pump, and it didn't work. He ran inside to pay, and that's when the truck was taken. The baby asleep in the back seat.
Immediately, officers were alerted there was a kidnapping and a 6-month-old baby inside the vehicle. Her name is Baby Kinsley.
As a mother herself, Massing says she could only hope others would act if her child were in trouble. So she walked outside to check if the truck was the one police were searching for.
The windows were rolled up. They were tinted, so I couldn't tell if anyone was in there. And I read the license plate, checked my phone from the news, and it matched. My heart sunk. I was like, okay, I got a call.
Police arrived in minutes, finding the baby unharmed in the back seat. The 6-month-old was reunited with her parents, and the suspect had fled.
So once I seen her, alive and moving, I was just joyful.
A happy ending to this story today. Now, police are still continuing that investigation here at this home tonight. What we know right now is that they have found, as I said, several stolen vehicles on the property. In the time I've been here, I've seen 5 tow trucks come through just to that property in the past couple hours. We'll continue to follow this developing story. Reporting live, I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Alyssa, thank you. And not every case involving a missing child gets an Amber Alert, and that's because the Justice Department has specific criteria for it. 1, there has to be reasonable belief of an abduction. 2, there must be an immediate danger. 3, police must have a clear description of a victim. 4, the victim must be 17 or younger. In today's case, all of that criteria were met, which is why authorities issued the Amber Alert.
Transitioning into adulthood can be scary for anyone, but it's especially daunting for young people in the foster care system as they approach 18. WRTV's Stephanie Wade shares the critical resources that the Department of Child Services wants foster families to be aware of, so foster kids can continue to lead productive lives.
I've been in the system since I was 12.
Davita Short spent 8 years in foster care.
Going into the system, it was scary because I was separated from my older sister.
As she got older, having a loving, supportive foster family, she says. At 16, she began working with the collaborative care case manager. One is assigned to every foster youth that was unable to be placed in a permanent home and is still in foster care by the time they reach 18.
Collaborative care really helped me grow. It helped me become more of an adult. It helped me apply, stay apply for jobs and also help me to budget.
Through the program, they helped her apply for colleges and scholarships. And now she's a student at Vincennes University.
The collaborative care is extended foster care. So young people can choose to stay in foster care beginning at age 18 voluntarily, but foster care for an adult looks different than for a 12-year-old.
This means they could live in their own apartment or in a college dorm while still being supported financially by DCS.
We can help them with rent, help them with utilities or food, transportation, education cost.
It made me feel comfortable. It made me realize that there's people that are wanting to help me and wanting to see me succeed.
For them to hear from a peer, it's going to be okay, and it's okay to take advantage of these resources available. You do not have to be alone. That's a message we really want to get out there to our young people. We don't want them to be alone.
Right now, there are currently 344 youth across the state utilizing these services. And while some foster youth might experience what's referred to as system fatigue by the time they're 18, having spent years in the system and choose not to utilize these services, that's okay too. They're able to call back at any point and re-enter until age 23.
It's voluntary. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. We can't make you, but we're not going to turn our back on you. We want to make sure that young people who are exiting our system, all of them, know that.
As for Davida,
take advantage of the resources that are being presented in front of you. They're awesome. They're great, and they help you.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
And this is the hotline number on your screen right now. If you are a former foster youth and you're trying to reconnect with services, that number is 1-800-800-5556. It is another pleasant evening in central Indiana. These kayakers were even able to get on the water at Eagle Creek Reservoir today. But we still need rain. Meteorologist Kyle Mounts is here with what you can expect as we near the end of the work week. Kyle.
Yeah, Amanda, we got a cold front moving through the area, just not a lot of moisture for it to work with, but those kayakers having to battle the breeze out there just a little bit now out of the north and northeast, around 15 miles per hour, bringing in some of that cooler air. Our temperature, you're in the upper 60s now in Kokomo at 68, while it's 73 in Indy after a high of 80, and you still sit at the 80-degree mark in Bloomington. Here's a look at radar, though, and you can see not a whole lot happening here across central Indiana and the Midwest. With those clear skies, our temperatures will fall back through the 60s this evening and into the 40s by tomorrow morning. We'll talk about more of those 40s coming our way, some cool afternoons, and how long that dry stretch will continue.
An update now to a story WRTV Investigates has been tracking regarding a Greenfield headstone company and consumer complaints about the business. We have learned Greenfield police are working with the Attorney General's office to help customers who are waiting for headstones or refunds. Our Kara Kenny joins us now with what they are doing and some tips to help you as well.
Mary Collins is still waiting for an $1,800 refund from Greenfield Granite for her husband's headstone she paid for in February, but the stone was never finished.
It's been awful. I mean, I can't explain it.
We first introduced you to Mary and other grieving families last month who are waiting for headstones or refunds from Greenfield Granite.
I'm coming out to a pile of dirt. I can't sit with him.
On September 8th, Greenfield Granite's owner, Amy Stroll, died by suicide. Greenfield Police has received complaints from at least 70 people regarding Greenfield Granite, many customers wondering what can be done now. Greenfield Police tells us the criminal investigation is still ongoing. They're also working with the Indiana Attorney General's office to help Greenfield Granite's customers with any unfinished business.
It's unfortunate that these kind of allegations concerns very, very sensitive issues. You know, you're dealing with the death of a loved one at a time when you're grieving, and you don't necessarily want to deal with a business that is not doing what they're supposed to do.
The Attorney General's office is asking consumers to file a complaint at indianaconsumer.com.
In general, there are remedies that the office has to pursue companies or individuals that are connected if there is liability there. And that can be in the form of a fine or a penalty. That can be in the form of restitution, an injunction in certain circumstances. There are a lot of tools that the Attorney General's office can ask for and that a court can order if the threshold is met.
Mary Collins expressed her condolences to Amy Stroll's family. Before Stroll's death, Mary filed complaints with the Attorney General and Greenfield Police. She's still hoping for some resolution for herself and other grieving families. Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
And here's some tips from the AG's office when dealing with a business. Document everything. Make sure to keep copies of your contract, receipts, as well as emails and text messages. Keep track of the first and last names of employees you work with. And lastly, you can file a complaint at indianaconsumer.com.
Right now, an investigation is underway into several arsons, both on the north and south sides of Indianapolis. We begin on the south side. An Indianapolis trucking company faces about $1 million in losses after an arsonist set fires and destroyed nearly 20 commercial vehicles. The Indianapolis Fire Department says firefighters rushed to MNK Truck Center near Harding Street and I-465 around 3:30 this morning. They say heavy fire was visible from the highway. Investigators found 14 tractor trailers, 3 dump trucks, and 3 other vehicles on fire. According to firefighters, all of the vehicles were behind a secured chain link fence. MNK Trucking Center is offering a $30,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the fires. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS. Investigators are also looking into 3 deliberately set fires on the north side within about 2 miles of each other. The Indianapolis Fire Department first responded to a house fire on Eugene Street near 30th and MLK around 10:30 last night. 2 houses down, another home was also on fire with heavy smoke. A third fire was reported about 2 miles away at 38th and Kenwood Avenue. No one. 3 fires have been ruled arsons.
Indiana's COVID-19 numbers continue the trend of going up and down. The State Department of Health confirms 850 additional cases of the coronavirus. That is 226 more cases than Indiana reported yesterday. 108,646 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19 since the pandemic began. The Department of Health reports 6 additional deaths. So far, a total of 3,253 people in Indiana have died with COVID-19. More than 1,269,000 Hoosiers have been tested for the coronavirus. 8.6% of them tested positive for it, which is a slight increase from yesterday. State data shows that 38.5% of Indiana's ICU beds are available. COVID-19 patients are using about 10% of the ICU beds. Non-COVID-19 patients are using 51% of the beds. 81% of the state's ventilators are also available.
We are just 3 days away from the Colts' home opener against the Minnesota Vikings, but this home game is going to be different from all of the rest. First, only 2,500 fans will be in attendance on Sunday. That was a rule the Colts and the Marion County Health Department put into place. Everyone inside of Lucas Oil Stadium must wear a mask. There are no exceptions. The Colts will put a pod seating arrangement into place. That means if you bought tickets with a group of people, you will sit together, but your group will be socially distanced in the stands from other groups attending the game. Here's what else you can expect.
We're going to have cashless transactions, so everything, if you buy a hot dog or if you buy a soda, it'll be done without cash. Pretty much everything's going to be minimized. Contact is being minimized so that we can make sure that people stay safe and healthy.
The team says that you should still arrive early, even though there will only be 2,500 fans, and that's because there will be temperature checks before you're allowed into the stadium. The Colts and the Vikings will kick off at 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. And an update today, the Colts have announced that 7,500 fans will be allowed at the team's second home game against the Jets on September 27th. Limited single-game tickets for that game go on sale tomorrow.
An Indiana native hopes her creation in the middle of the pandemic will help women in her community. The innovation you need to see.
The North Central Panthers football team is undefeated and on the prowl. The squad having their best season in about 20 years. We get an inside look at the team ahead of the huge game tomorrow night under the lights.
And rain is sliding by to our southeast this evening, giving us our 12th day this month without a drop of rain. We'll go on the search of some of those rain chances in your 7-day planning forecast. You're watching WRTV News at 6.
Tonight, a Hoosier native is hoping a new resource she created during the pandemic will help women in her community.
The focus is on healing from stress that they may have due to the pandemic or pain and trauma they experience due to the high racial tensions. Katara McCarty created an emotional well-being app for Black Indigenous women of color. It's called Exhale. The app focuses on self-care, mindfulness, and rest by offering meditation, coaching, talk, and breathing techniques.
My hope is that Black Indigenous women of color can begin to use Exhale as a resource to manage that get that trauma out of their bodies, manage their stress, manage their anxiety, because it's not going to go away. Racism isn't going away yet, right? We're still going to face it tomorrow.
After coming up with the idea in April, McCarty worked throughout months of quarantine on the Exhale app with her daughters. All features are free right now until the end of September.
A nice day of weather here across central Indiana. A little warm in most spots. We made it to 80 degrees in Indianapolis, but things are about to cool down. They are already doing that. Courtesy of a cold front, we've got some upper 60s there around Kokomo, Tipton, and Peru. 73 right now in Indy. Still a couple of 80s out there, but I don't think we're going to see the 80s again for a couple of days. In fact, tonight with those clearing skies, temperatures get a little cool out there at 48 in Lafayette, 49 in the city, and right around 50 degrees into Columbus and Bloomington. So it's going to be a cool start to the day, and those clouds that we have out there now, you can see on TrueCast, they will clear out, and as we go through the day tomorrow, we got lots of sunshine back in that forecast. Few clouds off to our west and to our east. We will enjoy an area of high pressure building in, but temperatures aren't going to warm a whole lot here as we go through the first half of the day. We are still in the 50s with that sunshine right before the lunch hour, so your noontime temperature right around 60 degrees. We'll get into the middle and upper 60s for that afternoon high. So we're talking about numbers that are about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than they should be here in the middle of September. So fall getting a little bit of a jump start with a high of 65 in Muncie, 68 in Indy, close to the 70 degree mark in Bloomington. So all the sunshine has been nice, but we continue to be very dry. The latest drought monitor out there today, those dry conditions continuing to expand, and we also have a little bit of moderate drought that continues across the northern portion of the state, because for the month of September, not even a tenth of an inch of rain here in the gauge for Indianapolis. So we're about 1 3/4 inches below average. And that is a trend that does look to continue here right through the end of the month. This is the rainfall outlook through October 1st. Continues with below average rainfall there in the forecast. Does make for a very nice weekend, though. We'll have sunshine and temperatures in the upper 60s here on Saturday, lower 70s for you Sunday. Those mornings, though, you're going to need the jacket there. 45 degrees Saturday and Sunday morning. 7-day planning forecast, though, we do have a warming trend. We'll get back around 80 degrees the middle of next week.
Need to bundle up this weekend in the morning. This Friday, it's already the middle week of high school football's regular season, and coaches and players are doing their best to handle big changes during the pandemic.
North Central is having its best season in more than 2 decades. As Brad Brown shows us, every day on the field feels like a bonus for the Panthers.
Consider for a moment, this team very nearly did not have a season at all.
It was pretty hard because we had gone in for like a week, and then all of a sudden we just had to stop. It's kind of out of nowhere, like left field. So it was just hard, just sitting, waiting for the news.
And now they're taking advantage of every moment in front of them.
Every day we're going to take it as our last day, especially for us. We didn't have a summer. A lot of teams had a summer. We didn't have a summer. And so we take that as every day is our last day. And so we're fighting to drive and fight every day.
The North Central Panthers have won their first 4 games. That's the program's best start in 22 years. But back in mid-July, the Washington Township School Board shut down sports entirely. Just 1 week into summer practice, it looked like there would be no football for these guys.
If you were a senior on our football team, it was, and football meant a lot to you, and it was something that you may be going on to college to play, it was very difficult for them.
It was a time for us to like, okay, we're still going to work, everybody do their own workout routine and everything like that. So just in case, we do have a season, we're prepared for it.
3 weeks later, it was back to practice.
Go!
A ton of time lost, but the Panthers never lost their focus.
The kids that needed it, they were there doing it. And, we've got some good senior leadership. And, again, it was just keeping the faith and it's paid off.
They've already racked up an overtime win over Hamilton Southeastern, their first win over Warren Central in 21 years, and a gritty W in a battle against Lawrence North.
We take that every game and use that as a mentality to ball out and just relentless, just do everything and be there for each other because you're family, you're brothers.
Big playmakers on both sides of the ball and a ton of energy. All of it coming out every day they hit the field.
I mean, we're all happy flying around, so it's good energy this week.
It's Code Red defense, that's what we call it. So it's just a goal. We all been with each other since forever. We've all played with each other. A lot of us played since we were started since sophomores or juniors, so our chemistry is very well, and we know we have that mentality we got to go.
I'm just happier than heck that we are out here because there were a lot of people didn't think we'd get through week 2. And here we are heading to week 5, and I'm glad it's worked out safely.
North Central gets their toughest test this Friday with a trip down to face top-ranked Center Grove. But the Panthers have won the last 2 matchups against CG. It's one of a trio of matchups featuring ranked teams this week. Join us for Week 5 high school football coverage tomorrow night at 6 and 11. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
A lot of sunshine in that 7-day planning forecast, but those clear skies at night make for some chilly temperatures. The next 5 nights, we've got lows in the 40s. Those afternoons, though, they'll start to warm up a little bit. We'll get back to around 80 degrees by Wednesday.
Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Join us again for the news at 7. We'll see you then.